How to gain self-confidence. Step 1, analyze yourself. Identify the root cause of your insecurity. Think back to how long you've had this insecurity of yours. Was it since you were a little kid? Is it more of a recent insecurity? Where did it come from? Was it something that grew within yourself? Was it influenced by someone else? Or did someone else tell you a negative message that stuck with you and caused this insecurity? Are you always insecure about this? If not, what's happening when you're confident, when you're not feeling insecure? Think about how you feel, what you're doing, who you're with, whenever you feel the most confident about this area. If you think about all of these questions and you answer them all, you're going to start building more insight into where this insecurity is coming from. And you need to do this. This part is important because it's really what's going to help you further understand yourself and why you're having these thoughts. And also identify what you can do to start to change it. Also, other questions you should ask yourself are, what are you confident in? People are sometimes insecure in their appearance, but they're confident in their physical abilities, like if they're really good at a sport or if they're very musically talented. So it's likely that you're confident in other areas of your life, but insecure and lacking confidence in others. So if you are confident in something else, why? Why are you confident? What helps sustain this level of confidence within you? Oftentimes, for example, if somebody is really good at a sport, what helps maintain their confidence is practicing. They often practice whatever sport they play, and that's how they stay good at what they're doing. Well, this can also be applied to other areas of your life that you're not confident in. You have to give the same amount of dedication and effort to trying to be confident in the other areas of your life that you feel insecure in. Step 2, set boundaries with people or eliminate toxic people from your life. So, if you have identified that your insecurity comes from people that you have in your life, like if you have someone that's always putting you down or has said negative messages to you since you were born, like it could be even a mother or father or a relative, it's important to be able to set boundaries with these people, either in a direct way by saying, every time you make a comment about my weight, it makes me feel insecure. Every time that you comment on how much I eat, I feel bad afterward and I can't stop thinking about it. Can you please not say those comments to me? So it could be as direct as something like that, or as indirect as maybe just choosing to spend less time around these people if you can and if you want to, or changing topics of conversation if you feel like it's going down a path that you don't feel comfortable. Also, eliminating toxic people. Sometimes you have people that you just continue to hang around with, even though you don't necessarily feel happy about it or don't want to hang out with them. Well, it's important to cut off the contact with them and spend time around the people that make you feel good, because this is really what's going to help give you the motivation and encouragement to really love yourself and feel as confident as you can about yourself. That doesn't mean, to only spend time with people who always agree with you, who never challenge you or things like that, but people who truly have the best interests in mind, your best interests in mind, and who love you and who consistently demonstrate that they want what's best for you. And that they're very encouraging and that you feel happy and you feel rejuvenated after spending time with them, not the opposite. Not people that you feel suck away your energy or make you feel worse about yourself, or whenever you hang out with them and you go back home, you feel like you're in a funk. So really pay attention to who you're spending time with, because that's also very important. Number 3, separate yourself from negative messages. So a lot of times our insecurities come from the beliefs we have about ourselves. If we feel insecure about something, it's because we believe something about ourselves. One of the things that we often try to help clients do is to separate themselves from their own thoughts. I know this sounds a little different, but just because you have a thought about yourself doesn't make it true. For example, when it comes to appearance, there are sometimes people who used to dislike some sort of trait, physical trait that they had when they were younger. But then they grew to love it, to accept this part of themselves. Did that physical trait change? Not necessarily. What changed was how they thought about it, how they felt about that physical trait. So this is what I mean by just because you have a thought about yourself doesn't make it true. If these negative thoughts are very consistent and you have them all the time, it's going to take a lot of work and practice to separate yourself from them. One thing that you can do is use something that's called visualization. Visualization is when you imagine an image in your mind that helps convey a feeling inside of you. For example, if I am feeling nervous about a presentation, I can visualize myself in a very comfortable, peaceful space right before I give the presentation, in order to convey a feeling of calmness and of peacefulness, so that I can in a sense, induce a physical response that I want in that moment. As far as separating yourself from your negative thoughts, you can visualize a negative thought as if it's just coming to you in a bubble. And you can stop and observe the bubble with the text of whatever your negative thought is saying. And then just imagine that bubble float away. Simply just observe it, and you can even tell yourself, I'm having a negative thought right now. Oh, here's this negative thought again. It's making its return. I'm going to let it go away. I'm going to let it float off. And just imagine it disappearing into thin air. You can imagine yourself popping it with a pin, like you would pop a balloon. You could imagine yourself taking it with your hands and crushing it with your hands, stomping on it maybe. But don't let these negative thoughts stick. That's when we start getting into a dangerous feedback loop where you continually tell yourself things that make you feel bad, that don't uplift you. So it's very important to be able to manage your thought process in that way and be very mindful about the types of thoughts you're having, and to do things to distract yourself from them, or engage in a visualization exercise, kind of like I just described. If these negative messages are coming from someone else, I want you to stop and think about why this person is saying these things. Think about what was leading up to the moment where they decided to say something to you in that way. What is it about them that makes them feel like they can comment on you in this manner? Maybe they've had the same messages said to them and they feel like this is normal. Or maybe there's something else that's leading them to act in this way towards you. But, one thing I will say is that most times, pretty much like almost every time, when someone says something mean to you or something negative, it has everything to do with them and very, very little to do with you. Anybody who, is feeling confident about themselves and who wants to uplift others and help others and wishes the best for others is not going to say these things. If you feel like, the person who's saying these things maybe means well, or it's coming off in a way that maybe they're not aware of, then that's when you need to go back to what I was saying earlier about being direct with them and honest and open about your feelings and letting them know, hey, I don't like it when you say these messages. Can you please stop? And if they truly are your friend, or if they really are a loving family member, they will understand or try to understand, and you guys can talk about it together. So step 3 is just to make sure you try to use different techniques to separate yourself away from the negative messages, whether that may be journaling, or for every negative message you have, writing down 3 positive ones. A lot of people usually write this off and say, it doesn't work. I've tried it before and it doesn't work. But I would challenge you and ask you to think about how much effort did you put into that last time. Was it something that you truly practiced every day for at least a month? Because that's really how much effort it takes to teach yourself to be kind to yourself. And obviously analyzing the root cause of this insecurity, which if you need help with, that's something that therapy can help with. That's why it's so important to find someone who you can talk to about these things, because sometimes you can't do it alone. It's just too many thoughts to analyze and to think about. So it helps, to have a friend or a therapist or some sort of support to help you get over this insecurity and start taking steps, consistent steps, to be kind to yourself and to do whatever you need to do, whatever it takes, whatever it has taken in the past to build your confidence in whatever area of your life you feel insecure in. Just because I'm a therapist doesn't mean that I have the best self-confidence in the world and that I'm not lacking confidence in certain areas of my life. If I said that, that wouldn't be true. But one thing that has helped me in the past to be able to maintain a kind and loving attitude toward myself and not compare myself to others is to ask myself, do I think I'm better than other people? And sometimes when I'm struggling with my confidence, I'll ask myself that. Do you think you're better than others? And well, I don't. My answer to that is no, I don't think I'm better than other people. I don't look down on others. I feel like everybody deserves to have a good life. I think that everybody's valuable. So when I stop and ask myself that, I say, well, if you don't think you're better than others, then why do you think that others are better than you? Right? It would hold true that there's nobody else that's better than you or that's more valuable than you if you're not more valuable than another person. So if you truly believe in that, it's a way to kind of challenge yourself and to not see others as more deserving than you. And this will help you to be able to see that you deserve the same things that other people do as well. It doesn't mean that you're equally as good at things than other people are, because that's just not true. There's always going to be someone that is more skilled than you, more talented than you, prettier than you, and anything else you can list. But what I'm talking about is value. do all those things together make that person more valuable than you? And the answer to that is no, it doesn't. There are strengths that you have, things that, innate abilities that you carry with you, awesome things about your own personality and your way of doing things that also make you deserving. Because no matter who you are, where you come from, everybody has something to offer. And I know that sounds really cliche, but it's true. It's definitely the truth. And having that sort of mindset is also what I have seen helps people to take more risks, to be more confident, and to start radiating that self-love and kindness toward themselves, and like giving it to others and helping others, encouraging them as well. So it doesn't only do good for you, it does good for others as well, if you're able to kind of adopt that attitude. So that was the last thing I wanted to say with regards to confidence, insecurities, and self-love.